Hey everybody, what's shaking? It's Poleshift Alert here. We just thought that we'd stop by and do another 3D video. You know, why not? Now, let's talk about pole shifts, shall we? Now, we've had a lot of shaking and a quaking going on worldwide lately. A lot of stuff going on. Volcanoes going off, all kinds of strange anomalies, weather. Clearly, people are picking up on the fact that it's a pole shift, and a lot of people are grabbing my info and putting it out as their own thought. And they've got some different graphics and different things. And I'm not really being too hard on that because clearly we want that information out that we're having a pole shift. So, I get angry sometimes when people, take up my subject materials because a lot of it comes straight off my page. But um, I'm going to show you some stuff that I took off of someone else's page. And sometimes I share your information when it comes to me if it's related to such topics as this. Let me show you this information that I came across. This right here is a list that somebody put out showing that there's going to be damage in cities in 2028. San Francisco is the one to look at. Here it shows Jerusalem temple site. Now I want you to check out the next picture. City destroyed in 2028. San Francisco 2028. City destroyed, 1 million plus dead. On one of the photos, I believe it showed that in 2030, that in Jerusalem, there would be an extinction level event. Where's this information coming from? Now, we don't know what to think about all this new information, but we do know, there ain't no doubt about it, that we're deaf. Number one, baby. Okay. You can pretend that you're number one when you're number two. Okay. That's us. Okay. We're the big golden balloon, baby. We're number one. Okay, so pole shift alert, we've been number one. We've been doing it for a while, baby. We're going to be doing it. We're going to keep on doing it. We're going to keep on telling you about all the bad things that everybody else keep picking up on and telling you about, but they forget to mention where they heard it. All right. So when you take a picture like this of America, you can clearly see that the mountain ranges and the valleys and where the silt ran down and ran off of those areas, you can fairly clearly see it. Now, we can pretend that it's not there. We can pretend that these mountain ranges and stuff do not exist, but there they are, and they're very impressive. And this is something that you would want to get to that area, and then you can see over there on the East Coast, these ridge lines along that coast and stuff. You'd want to get into these. You can see where you'd want to get. And you're not going to want to be in that middle area because that middle area is completely flooded through there before. You can look at this right here and you can see that this would be prone to some sort of flooding. Now, a lot of this area right here, you can see is at a downward tilting slope. So some sections of this where you see the really dark edges on the edge of that coastline, you can probably expect some of that to get inundated or completely lost. There's going to be areas of regional flooding in this area. Some lady said maybe up to the microwaves, but you can clearly see that we are in a kind of I'm not going to say a bowl, but in the middle of the country up in here is where it's the safest because there's no water. It has to go a long way to get up to this area in here. So this is your key spot that you want to be in, is somewhere up in here. But close to mountain ranges and elevation and on a hillside that's, got something like this, to where if there is some kind of flooding, that you won't be impacted by it. You have to be smarter than the terrain that's around you if you want to survive this event. Know where to build, know where not to, know where to be, know where not to be, and know when to be there. Here on the East Coast, you can see these mountain ridges. You'd want to get on the back side of these to try to escape any sort of a wave or whatever, but you don't want to go too far over there, or you could get inundated by flooding on that side. So you'd want to be in those areas where those darker colors are, the Appalachian Mountains, those mountain ridge lines along that coastline there. And, you can see where the elevation is, and you can see where you want to be and where you don't want to be. Near the Great Lakes, there's going to be a lot of flooding, and you could see how there would be just in that picture, how if we do take some sort of a massive tilt, how some of these lakes could spill out into the surrounding areas. Now, here's the other side of the country. Now, clearly, there's a lot more areas where you could try to get to. But you can see that shelf right there that basically makes up California. And you can see where it turns into the plains. And you can see how water could flood if you get too far out in there. But there's areas where you definitely could go and flee to in case of tsunamis and this sort of stuff. You've got to pick your battles, folks, but you don't want to be in this Midwestern, lower Arizona, Nevada, Utah regions unless you can get to higher ground. Now, they're incoming. They know they're incoming. There's quite a few planets that are incoming. This is the reason they say they go in like a lion and come out like a lamb. Go in like a lamb and come out like a lion. And they say it's a mini solar system. And you can see that these planets are pretty tightly rotating. So what are we about to face? How bad is the pole shift going to be? What are some of the names they're using for this thing? I'll tell you right now. It used to be called KX-76, NASA's secret code name. It used to be called KIC 8462852. Nibiru's new name is DGCVN. It used to be called Sol 2. Now, this planet is the one that causes the pole shift, not the binary star that you're seeing in the sky. It's this object, the most outer object of this black star system, that causes the pole shift. It's this object. It has an iron nickel core, and it rotates the opposite direction of us. It gets between us and the sun. It is 683,310 mile radius wide planet. It's massive. Bizarre second sun spotted in the sky over Pennsylvania, sparking doomsday fears. Yeah, you're telling me, man. It sure is, isn't it? Sparking a lot of doomsday fears. They're running men over it, like myself. They hid it from you for years. They told you that, oh, it's just some anomaly. It's just some black box in the sky. Yeah, right between the legs of Virgo, where the Bible tells us to look for an object that's going to bring the doom and destruction of Earth. That anomaly in Google Sky just happened to be right there, right where these objects appeared, between the legs of Virgo in the Bible. Clearly, we're number one. Clearly, we're here for fun. What else can you do? Enjoy life.